Right now on the National Weather Desk. Too much snow in Alaska? The unexpected problems one city is now facing. As cleanup continues in Tennessee, you'll hear from a man whose mother was one of the storm's victims. See how volunteers from across the country are helping people recover. Skiers have a close encounter with a bear. So why are so many of these wild animals not hibernating this time of year? And we'll take a deep dive into that burning question. Why does it get so quiet when it snows?
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Well, heavy, wet snow is falling across parts of New Mexico this morning as a storm system moves across the Rockies. Now, this is what it looked like earlier on Wednesday when the snow was just starting to fall near Santa Fe. Road travel in some areas will be pretty tough this morning. Now, while only a few inches are expected in this region, up to 2 feet could fall in the northern mountains with up to a foot in other areas. Well, it's a similar scene in south central Alaska, which has been hit with yet another round of heavy snow. It's causing dangerous driving conditions across Anchorage. Up to a foot of fresh snow covered the roads Wednesday morning, causing all schools in the district to close. The Alaska Department of Transportation categorizes these conditions as quote-unquote difficult and is asking drivers to reduce their speeds and drive with the headlights on. Well, in Montana, a skier triggered an avalanche on Mount Blackmore, which is south of Bozeman in the northern Gallatin Range. The good news, the rush of snow did not catch the skier. The person found a safe spot behind a tree. Now, the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center says 6 avalanches have been triggered by humans so far this season. Officials are finding an unstable snowpack due to early snow showers in October, which created a weak foundation and is now leading to more avalanches. Federal aid has been approved for Tennessee following last weekend's deadly tornado outbreak. Tennessee experienced 7 confirmed tornadoes, including 6 in Middle Tennessee, claiming 6 lives. Amanda Chin spoke with a man whose mother is among those victims.
This is what's left of Eric Davis's home here in Clarksville. You can see around me, there's essentially nothing. He tells me he had been sheltering in the bathroom with his mother, but the tornado was just too powerful. Donna Allen was the life of the party, says her son, Eric Davis.
She liked to have fun. She's been through a lot and she always seemed to make light of any bad or negative situation.
Allen had been visiting her son from Florida and had planned to stay for Christmas to be with him and her grandkids. On Saturday afternoon, everything changed.
The lights went out again and I'm like, Mom, we need to go to the bathroom.
As soon as they went to the bathroom, the storm hit.
I just remember hearing my mom's voice, oh God, oh Lord, oh my God.
Those are the last words Davis would hear from his mother.
We rolled at least 2 or 3 times, but it was so quick. It only lasted a minute, if that, and it was over. There was an opening when everything stopped and I literally pushed the board and I was able to stand up. I was in complete shock and disarray because everything around me was kind of just gone.
He had no idea where he ended up, but was focused on trying to save his mom.
I saw her and my goal was to try to pull her out. And I called for help.
Neighbors came to try and help.
It was too late. She lost so much blood. She had lost so much blood from just being cut up and stuff.
This is what Anchor High Marina looks like now after an EF2 tornado came right through it Saturday night.
We've been here 17 years, never seen anything like this.
Mitch Miller, owner of Anchor High Marina, says he was sick to his stomach when he saw this damage.
We lost some boats out on A row. A lot of them are bashed up on B row, some on C, but all in all, for what came through here, I feel like we're actually almost lucky.
Miller says they've been using a pontoon boat to get people to their boats, to then transport their boats to other marinas in the area. Because he explains they're worried if another storm comes, it would damage the boats even more. There's also a restaurant at this marina called The Rudder.
Our restaurant is basically 90% windows and we are floating on the lake, so not the ideal place to be.
James Sharp, general manager of The Rudder, says 30 people were here eating dinner during the tornado. Fortunately, Sharp says everyone was safe.
While those cleanup efforts continue, volunteers from across the country are in Middle Tennessee helping the victims. As Mark Liverman reports, that includes one from North Carolina that is working to support those dealing with the most damage.
You want to hit the ground running and be there as quick as possible.
It's been just a few days since that deadly tornado in Tennessee, but Greg Lentz isn't wasting any time. Greg and his organization, Hearts with Hands, based here in Swannanoa, putting together food kits.
Everything's pop-top, so that way you can just eat it right out of the can. You don't have to warm it up.
The focus for now, what the tornado victims need the most. Some of the most essential items after the storm.
Anywhere from breakfast items to canned items, water, juice, all of those things.
A massive, deadly weather system brought rain, heavy wind, and even tornadoes to a huge part of the eastern U.S. over the weekend. North Carolina was spared the worst. So far, no reports of injuries in our state after an EF1 touchdown in Garner. But some in neighboring Tennessee weren't as lucky.
Because of this being a F3 tornado, a lot of the houses are totally off the foundation or gone.
Destroying nearly everything in its path, impacting thousands in Clarksville.
You got toothbrush, you got deodorant, washcloth, you got soap.
Greg's plan is to drop these pallets off in Clarksville on Thursday. More than 600 boxes of food and other supplies too.
We pack those in these cases so that way they're ready to go.
Bears are known to hibernate in the winter, but that's not always the case, especially in the Lake Tahoe region. As Audrey Mayer reports, skiers at the Heavenly Ski Resort got quite the surprise with 2 black bear sightings on the slopes this week.
Skiers and boarders were stunned when a Tahoe black bear ran across a ski run at Heavenly Monday. Then, skiers were stunned again the very next day, capturing this video from the Chairlift Tuesday, a family of black bears making some fresh tracks.
I think what you have to understand is that the Tahoe Basin is home to one of the densest concentrations of black bears in all of North America.
It turns out many black bears in Tahoe often do not hibernate because of their ability to access human food year-round. That's what we learned from a California Department of Fish and Wildlife official after 2 videos of bears went viral on Monday and Tuesday this week.
No neighborhood in Lake Tahoe, there is no place in Lake Tahoe where you shouldn't expect a bear encounter of some kind.
It turns out, with a high population of residents and tourists, unfortunately, human food is easily accessible to bears.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of people-related food, right? Like human food, garbage, pet food, birdseed. So those bears, many bears in the Tahoe area don't hibernate because they have that 24/7 year-round access to food.
If somebody is skiing down the mountain, they see a bear, what should they do?
I mean, it's always kind of thrilling to see a bear in the wild, and just understand they're beautiful creatures, they're charismatic, they have a lot of personality, but just understand they're wild animals and enjoy them from a distance, give them their space.
About 100 miles northwest of Tahoe, a family of beavers was reintroduced to the wild for the first time in nearly 75 years. The 7 beavers will join a single resident beaver. The goal is to reestablish a new breeding population to help grow the mountain meadow ecosystem. This is part of the first phase of California's North American Beaver Restoration Project in conjunction with Native tribes. The next reintroduction is planned for the Tule River Reservation in the southern Sierra Nevada. Many folks were lucky to catch the Geminid meteor shower last night. It is one of the best sky shows of the year. Now, while the peak was last night, you still have an opportunity to catch them through Christmas Eve. Meantime, northern lights were shining bright in Maine overnight. Meteorologist Charlie Lopresti from our station in Portland posted these images on Facebook. That's Mount Katahdin in the distance with the beautiful colors of the Aurora Borealis dancing in the sky. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we head to Washington State to check in on the opening of this year's ski season. And we are 1 week away from winter. We'll show you what you need to do now to get your home and car ready for the cold months ahead.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti. Look at the northeast. Temperatures in the northeast are going to be on the cool side today. The good news is we'll have a lot of sun in the northeast. 30s and low 40s will do it for highs. The cool down gets going for one day and one day only. Notice the sunshine. That's 1:30 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. Most towns are topping out in the 30s here. But as we go into the day on Friday, the next warm-up gets going. It's actually a warm front that moves through tonight. Notice Friday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we should have highs in the 40s and 50s.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We're getting ready for a nice and sunny day. This afternoon, not many clouds over the region. It looks great all around. Then overnight, still keeping with that nice and quiet pattern, we'll have high pressure remain over the region, keeping us dry and sunny over the next couple days. As we head into the afternoon, temperatures will reach the 30s and the 40s, staying close to average for most. Then overnight, temperatures will fall to the 20s and 30s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your forecast highs for the day. We're looking at a cool day in Raleigh at 51 degrees, 59 in Charleston, temperatures in the 60s towards Birmingham and Mobile, Tupelo 66 degrees, temperatures 70s down in Tampa and West Palm. Looking at some sun out there over the Tennessee Valley and over the Carolinas, but we have a lot of cloud cover over parts of the South, especially Florida. Looking at a low pressure system that's going to develop, dropping plenty of rainfall across parts of the South, especially towards Jacksonville, south and near Miami and West Palm through the weekend.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, the wait is over for skiers and snowboarders in Washington state. Local ski resorts are finally getting their season started. Most had hoped to open their doors weeks ago, but a lack of snow prevented that from happening. Paul Rivera is at Stevens Pass Ski Resort with more.
Officials with the resort estimated around 1,000 people took advantage of open day at Stevens Pass, sharing this video of the conditions out on the slopes.
We got up pretty early and it was a little icy off at first, but it just softened up and got better throughout the day, and it's riding really well now.
Thank you. There you go. Those here skiing and snowboarding are happy to be back at it.
It's like freedom. It's wind in your face and you don't really think about anything else except trying not to fall down.
I just started skiing last year, but it's very beginner friendly. I went down the easy slope a couple times, but yeah, it's been fun just kind of watching people and the vibes. They're good.
Have you fallen a few times?
Yes, but that's okay.
It's been like a slow season, but we're thankful that we're going.
Stevens Pass had targeted a couple of weeks ago to open, but had to delay. General Manager Ellen Galbraith said they had snow and then they didn't.
So we did lose some of our snowpack with that early season moisture, and thankfully with this last storm, it's given us the base to get open.
For now, some terrain isn't open yet, and they're asking people to be cautious out there in these early season conditions. This will certainly benefit the businesses along Highway 2 that welcome all of the traffic that passes through this region.
We do bring a lot of business through the area, and we are part of the Skykomish, Snohomish Valley and the economic engine that is here.
They and those out here are ready for this excitement to continue.
For sure, we're hoping for more snow.
When it does snow, have you ever noticed how quiet it is? Well, there's actually a science behind this phenomenon. Emily Racy reached out to her college physics professor from UNC Asheville to find out why snow muffles sound.
There's actually a physical reason. If you look at those soundproof rooms, you know how they have all those openings where the sound can get caught? Well, when the snow falls, there's air pockets. There's like areas, small areas inside, and the sound can then get trapped and absorbed, especially for like high frequencies too, which have short, wavelengths. But it doesn't last that long because the gravity starts to compact it after a while, and also if the sun should like shine on it, even if the temperature is below freezing, if the sun shines on it, you can get a thin layer of ice, and then it becomes like an auditorium. It comes the opposite. So it only lasts briefly. I would say maybe an hour or two or so might be what you should expect.
So I wonder, does temperature make a difference when it's falling? Is it colder temperatures, fluffier snow, more sound muffling?
Yeah, exactly. You want the fluffy snow. If you can get some moisture in there, that's like not good. So like you don't want it to start melting. So you do want the cold temperature, have it fluffy, have the spaces, in there so that it can stay as snow for a while without being compacted.
You mentioned if it compacts more, it becomes more ice-like and can actually have the opposite effect. So does that mean like in an ice storm, sound is amplified?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because see, when it gets compacted, you're basically losing the sound, proofing effect. So that can happen with the snow where it's real quiet, and then after like a few hours where it gets compacted and there's some, ice, forming, it's like the opposite. It's like the difference is very striking.
With winter officially starting 1 week from today, now is the time to get your home and car ready for the frigid months ahead. Meteorologist Phil DeCastro shares advice for things you can do both at home and on the road.
If we ask you to stay off the roads and you absolutely don't need to be on the roads, adhere to those warnings, because things like tow bans are a real thing. And if enough people are sliding off the roads and it's not safe for conditions, your vehicle might sit there for a couple days until it's safe to do so. You might be stranded on the side of the road. They don't want you in those situations.
Beyond that, keeping emergency kits at home and in your car can be a life-saving step. Drinking water, first aid supplies, non-perishable food, blankets, flashlights, all among items that can help if you're stranded at home or out on the roads. And preparation doesn't just stop with the junk in your trunk.
The only part of your car that actually touches the road is your tires, so you really want to make sure that they're in good shape before the winter starts. Now, an old rule of thumb is to use a penny to check the tread depth. Around here, you really want to use a quarter. And if you turn that upside down, you stick it in the tread, look for George Washington's head. Now, if part of it's covered up by the tread, that means you've got at least 4/32 of an inch of tread left. Basically, it should be enough to get you through winter. But if you can see all of George Washington's head, then that means it's time for new tires.
And Kane says something people don't often do enough is keep spare warm clothes in their car in addition to any blankets.
If you're going out to the gas station or something, you think you don't need anything, you just put on a short sleeve shirt and some shorts and your slippers, and you go out to the gas station. I'll be right back. Having some boots and heavy winter clothing in there if you do get into an incident would be, I think, the biggest thing you can do to benefit yourself.
As the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and prevention could be what saves your life this winter season.
On the southern Louisiana coast, a local group has created an initiative aimed at boosting habitat restoration. The effort to restore sea life comes through what's called Cjun Coral. Rob Mason explains.
Not far from Port Fourchon, which services much of the offshore oil industry, alongside a bay that lost hundreds of acres to coastal erosion, a coalition comes together to try and restore a small portion of lost fishing habitat.
We can recreate a fishery that was once here and through time and hurricane action has eroded.
There was once land here called Pelican Island, and now these concrete blocks with a special design called Cjun Coral are being dumped in an area that's only 6 feet deep to try and restore sea life.
But with these purpose-built reef modules that are a little bit shorter but still have a lot of, nooks and crannies and complexity to them, it's a real neat design for the reef site.
CCA has been involved in building dozens of reefs similar to this over the past 20 years, part of a statewide system of artificial reefs of about 100. Designed to try and recreate what once was. Louisiana has lost more than 2,000 acres of wetlands in the past 100 years. And while projects like this won't replace what's been lost, fishermen like Chad Billiot say it'll help
habitats. So it doesn't really take long. I mean, the bait will habitat to it first, the barnacles will start growing, everything starts growing to it, and it recognizes it quick. So it doesn't really take long.
Total price for this artificial reef is estimated at around $340,000.
This is an effort to not just create reefs with riprap, but try and build these reefs in a structure that attracts not only fish habitat, but microorganisms and oysters.
This Timberlair Bay Artificial Reef project is the 49th that CCA has helped pay for since 2003.
And time now for a short break, but first, we take flight over California's Yosemite National Park.
Weather. Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Partly sunny skies back for Wyoming. Jackson Hole at 33 today, a beautiful 70 out of Los Angeles. And we'll see highs just in the 40s out of Albuquerque as the system pushes out of the Four Corners region and into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas today. High pressure rolling things over Idaho. New disturbance falling apart over Seattle and Portland. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A wispy cold weather pink palette, cotton candy hued clouds were caught forming streaks south of Syracuse, New York. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, it appears this recent mix of frosty trees, fog, clouds, and sun form a natural portrait, a silver and gold dawn. Also near Asheville, this bear neighbor takes a stroll on a recent frosty morning.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Well, dawn is the first appearance of light in the sky before sunrise, but there are actually different types of dawn. Theron Zahn explains.
We all know that dawn is when sun comes up, but did you know there are 3 definitions of dawn? Believe it or not, one of them is called nautical dawn. That is when the sun is 12 degrees below the horizon, just enough light to see things around. There's also civil dawn and meteorological dawn, but there are 3 kinds of dawn as you wake up every day.
Well, we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. thanks so much for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.